Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Let's get started. Today, I thought I would answer a question that I've started to notice popping up more and more each and every day on the channel, which is, don't you ever get bored of the Teenage Engineering Pocket Operators? So if you're here for the short answer, it's no, I don't. But let me explain a little bit why I don't. So right here I've got my little collection of working pocket operators. I've got the PO20 Arcade, the PO24 Office, the PO32 Tonic, and the PO35 Speak. I also have a PO33 KO, which it itself has been KO'd, so rip there. But these are the ones that I own and use frequently. Now, one thing I see in regards to pocket operators that tends to frustrate me is people refer to these as toys. Now, in my opinion, these are not toys. These are instruments. But we have to step back and look at it from a little bit larger point of view. I'm not making professional music. I'm not producing songs for pop stars or anything that's going to be heard on the radio. Now, clearly, the pocket operators were not designed for that. But just because they weren't designed to make radio playable music does not mean that we should immediately delegate them to the toy department. No, each and every one of these is a musical instrument in its own right. And I think a lot of people forget that. Not every musical instrument is aiming to be a professional piece of pro audio gear. So just wanted to get that out of the way really quick. Let's dive into all the reasons here why I do not get bored of these awesome little calculators. So first off, they are very immediate. I can pick one up and immediately start jamming. You know, each one has 16 pads. That's immediately 16 sounds that are accessible to you. Even on like PO14 and 16, you can go to Sound 16, and that's a drum kit. Everything is immediately playable. In 30 seconds, you can have a full pattern going on any pocket operator. There's not a lot of other devices out there that are that immediate in their workflow. You can pick up and instantly have something that sounds cool. Next up, they simplify a lot of the extra stuff, if you will, that does not really matter. So back to professional music, you know, if you're producing a song that's going to see radio play or some equivalent platform, you know, you need to worry about your mixing, your mastering, your effects sends, your panning. All those things matter very, very much so. However, when you're working with a pocket operator, none of that matters. And almost all of those things, if they are present at all, are just relegated to one knob or one button. You don't really have to worry about it. One thing I see very, very commonly is amateur musicians, such as myself, kind of over worrying about things that aren't as important as the main music. So when you're writing music and you're an amateur musician, you know, the most important thing are the notes that you play, or the way that you play them or program them. And yet I see people constantly worrying about, oh, this effect right here needs to come down 2%, or the pan is just a little bit off. Now, again, I'm not saying those things are not important, because the more you progress as a producer and musician, the more you need to focus on those things. However, they should never get in the way of the actual music. And pocket operators are great at that. They never let anything get between you and the sound. I think that the pocket operator is one of the closest connections between you and the sounds that you are sequencing of any device on the market. Next up, and this is a big one for me, each of the pocket operators has its own individual talent that it does way better than all the others. This means if I do happen to start to tire of one pocket operator, I can just switch to a different one and have a completely different instrument, completely different set of sounds with a very similar workflow. It's very, very freeing, especially if you've got a PO33, a 32, or a 35, because of course you can load your own sounds onto those. And even something as simple as going from the PO32 Tonic to the monophonic version of the Tonic, which is the drum kit on the 35, that feels completely different. They play like two totally separate and different drum kits because the 35 Speaks drum kit is monophonic, even though it's the same instance of the Tonic. You have to go about writing your rhythms completely different. You have to go about playing it live completely different. And it has a completely different set of effects as well. So it's very easy, even with just the 4 that I have here, to switch up and completely change the way that I'm working on something. Now, we all know that pocket operators are pretty limiting, but for me, that has been more freeing because with restriction comes creativity. And it's been very, very true with these. For me, you've probably noticed that on my channel. On a pocket operator, you're basically soft-locked into 4/4 time with a 16-step grid. That made me ask the question, how can I get out of that? And I wound up making a song in 7/4, and that's kind of what jump-started this channel growing. I think that got me my first like 50 subs or so. You know, how can we get around only having 16 different patterns to work with? Well, we can use effects in real time to make them feel like completely different patterns. You can use double triggering to get around BPM restrictions or, you know, note resolution restrictions. There's so much that you can do with these pocket operators. I'd say 9 times out of 10, if you come up with an idea in your head, you can get it done on a pocket operator if you've got the right mindset and enough time to dedicate to figuring it out. It also is a great way to learn. For instance, you can cheat sharps and flats out of the PO20 Arcade by changing the chord. And for me, that taught me a lot about chord phrasing and how notes kind of work in relation to each other. Again, I'm just a drummer, so my actual music theory knowledge when it comes to notes is well, it's growing, let's just say. But yes, restriction breeds creativity, and the pocket operators are a perfect example of that. Lastly, the layout and workflow of the pocket operators is perfect for teaching, which is something that I love to do. I've got tons of how-to sequence videos here on the channel where I work with the drum machines of the Tonic or the Speak or the KO or the Arcade. I think I've even done one with the Office, and I show you guys how to come up with drum patterns. I explain how they work and why they work and how you can change them to work for you. I really, really enjoy that aspect of my YouTube channel, helping you guys come up with beats. The cool thing is that while I'm teaching on the pocket operator, you guys don't have to use the pocket operators. I've seen people take my beats and put them on Electron products or Korg products. You know, the list goes on and on. But for teaching and conveying these concepts on video, the pocket operators are king. Having the 16-step sequencer grid laid out in a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a has been an absolute godsend for me and has really enabled me to kind of step up the teaching videos. And I really am excited to get my hands on another PO33 because then the drum videos are going to fly in. I am really excited for that. So yeah, I don't see myself ever getting bored of the pocket operators, and it really just boils down to how unique they are. And in my opinion, they are not toys, especially something like the PO32 Tonic. This guy, in my opinion, is the best drum machine under $500 and would be suitable for something that is going to see radio play. With the right sounds on there and the Microtonic software, you can just make some killer stuff on this guy. But that's a whole different video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video. If not, you can leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. If you've got a comment to leave, go ahead and drop it down below. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.